Hello together. This video explains you how you can do a firmware upgrade downgrade at our Ethernet IP API node. Therefore, we have two possibilities. The first possibility what is existing is the Festo-Field device tool, what you are seeing here. This is a freeware software of Festo, which you can download directly at the support portal. You see it here. This is the support portal, and here you can download this Festo Field Device tool. With the software itself, you can scan for our Festo components in the network, and you will find here the API Ethernet IP node, for example. And if you have done before at extras and firmware repository check for updates download, then you will get from our server the actual firmwares which are available. If you have done this, then you can just mark the node, right mouse, firmware, and then you see here that we are now successfully connected to the device, and you can now just mark the firmware which you want to download. And you recognize here also on the right corner that the LED behavior of the device has changed. And if you are now starting the download, then the process is started and we are downloading this firmware. And after around 1 minute, the firmware download should be finished here at Ethernet IP. And the node will be restarted automatically with the new firmware. See here, now the node is rebooting automatically. And we have downloaded the firmware. And after the reboot of the node, now it is starting the reboot. And now the firmware is initialized. And you see now in the Festo Field device tool, if you disconnect here and start a scan, that we are now having the latest firmware activated inside the node. This was the way with the Festo Field device tool. If your IT is by ever not allowing this freeware software of Festo, then you can also use the web server. You see here now, this is the web server, and in the web server you have the possibility to make here a downgrade or upgrade of the firmware. Therefore, you have just to choose the firmware file. The file itself is available. If you are going here again to the support portal, then you see here at software the actual firmware 1.3.1. And if I go here to download, go here to file and language versions, then I getting all the released firmware versions of Festo. And for example, I would like to downgrade the firmware by taking just here the zip file, save the zip file somewhere here, desktop, temp. There I'm saving now the zip file. I'm going to the zip file. And make here unzip. And then you see here the file, what is for the firmware important. And if I go now here back to my web server, I just choose the file. Desktop, temp, firmware update, here the file. Say open. And say send the firmware to the node. Firmware update failed. Please consult log output and try it again. You see here now I'm getting an email firmware update not allowed while device is connected. For example, to the PLC. This is a small difference with the web server. You have to ensure that the device is not connected if you want to use it, because test to field device tool is not caring about it, but the web server itself is caring about it. And I go here now just to my Logix project and say here to make it really easy. Where is it? Inhibit, apply, download. Now I ensure that the PLC is not establishing any connection to the node. And then I can do it here again. Configuration, firmware, browse, again the firmware, open. And now let's be sure that everything is running. Yes. Okay, and you see also with the LED here that the NS is flashing, means we have now no connection to the node. It is in inhibit mode, and I can do this also by programming code, but for this video I have just changed my configuration. But now I'm sending the firmware. And now the progress is starting for the downgrade. And you see also in the LED behavior that now the node is accepting the firmware. And after again 1 minute, the firmware will change to now version 1.2.2. Firmware update completed. System is restarting. Okay, I know this. And now you see this restart of the system. And after a few seconds, it will be available. Okay, now right now it is again available. And if I'm going now here to my AP system, then I'm recognizing, okay, the firmware has changed to version 1.2.2. That are the two ways to do a firmware upgrade, downgrade. One is the Festo Field Device tool software. If this is whatever not allowed in your company to use, then use the web server. With this, you can also do this firmware upgrade. In both cases, it is of course recommended that you have no connection to the PLC, because during operation I would never do a firmware update. But as you have recognized, Festo Field Devices tool is not caring about it, but the web server is caring about it. And it is strongly recommended that you have no process data exchange during a firmware upgrade downgrade. Thanks for your attention. Have a nice day. Bye.